So you wonder about these rulers of the darkness. And you're staying there, but check it. It's not what we do. It's not about money, but it's opportunity. What you do with opportunity, the opportunity that you get. People who make it big and conquer the world and top the world and dominate is what they did with opportunity. What you do with opportunity. We have people there right in school, and you have the best scholarship in our high school. We have in school of ministry, various institutions. Right there. I remember when Wincy got a scholarship, she was the only one in the class to get a scholarship, and that was the first scholarship anyhow, and the first time we were writing A's. And I remember Brother Hills, he said, but Pastor, why the whole class didn't get? He said, this is the same school, and the same teachers, and the same opportunity. He said the whole class could have gotten a scholarship, and still never went to one lessons anywhere. 8 distinctions and never went to one lessons anywhere. 1 day lesson. Most of the right there in the same school. Say, why the others didn't get it? What you do with opportunity. What you do with it. So is not your ability, but your capacity to handle opportunity with a mindset of investment and increase. And when you said, I must decrease, but this must increase. I must decrease, but my studies must increase. My marks must increase. But I must decrease in the sense of my Facebook and my liming, all my social network stuff, and my stupid talk on the phone, and what I like and this. I must decrease. But opportunity, what you do with opportunity, whether we approach it with a slave mentality or a servant's mentality, and whether I'm prepared to give more than I'm paid for, because that's the only way you could move up. If somebody had to make you a manager of a company, they don't just take you so and put you and try you out there. No responsible person does that. They see the managerial ability before you get there. So it means before you are paid for it and before you're in that position, you have to show acumen, you have to show ability, you have to show competencies relevant to that capacity, and then they put you there. If you don't have that kind of mindset, you say, somebody using me getting no pay for no manager job. If they want me to do manager job, let them pay me for manager job. And when they pay me for manager job, then I'll do manager job. You think I'm stupid or what? You want me to go to the union? I'll call myself short. Where the man? Stay right there. And people tell you that, And some of these trade union leaders who get there never achieve nothing in their life, and they get there because they big mouth and they can make all noise. And people put them, but they don't know nothing about how a country should run, how people should behave, how to move. And people listening to them because it's the same culture. And you big mouth and carrying on all kinds of stuff and making people lose tons of money last year, demonstrating in all kinds of, we know them, thousands and thousands of people demonstrating for all kinds of financial money. You talk about recession? If the government then had yielded to all them pressure and give all that money, also we in recession, we done, we buried already. And now everybody quiet because they realize all the money done by striking, coming off the job, protesting and doing all of that, all those things were nonsense because there was no way if you're intelligently managing an economy, you could ever do anything. Everybody quiet. They lose all of that, all their time, all their days, all their service, all kind of thing. And now you can't get even one cent, everything in vain because you're just doing things arbitrarily and haphazardly and want some kind of big mouth person to tell you, hey, you need to protest, boy, they're making money there. I have no projection for the future. Listen, and if people didn't catch themselves, you're going to see in a short while, they start to act foolish again for some nonsense. You have legitimate things and you have nonsense. And it doesn't matter who in government, sometimes people behave stupid. Very stupid. And if we don't check on it, all of us go fall victims because of somebody's stupidity. You have to come out now and support that stupidness, always stupidness, because you have to keep your job. But people like we, who God is our employer, and He will take care of us. We could say anything, do anything, and stand up for Him. And He will defend us all the time, anywhere. What you do with opportunity, that is what determines your destiny, your real destiny, the quality of your destiny. What you do with it. And too many of us, we submit ourselves to that nasty spirit of slavery. And we don't really unleash the fullest potential of servanthood in our lives. Slavery. Why you think Joseph, when his brothers were jealous, they sold him as a slave? He had a servanthood dream. And he was to reach where he's supposed to go by servanthood. The devil said, if we could only get the slave culture in him and get him to think as a slave, he will never achieve that dream. So sell him to slavery. Judas sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. 30 pieces of silver is what? The price of a slave. He sold Jesus as a slave. They were trying to get Jesus in that slave. When Jesus reached that point, it was between slavery and servanthood. Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Because I'm going to die for them people, suffer them people. I ain't doing nothing. I have to go through all that pain, and they have to reap all the benefits. If it be possible, then he gone back to servanthood. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. Jump right back in there. And what? Finally, what happened? It was servanthood that took him over and took all of us over. He said he humbled himself and took upon him the form of a servant. And he humbled himself unto death, even the death of the cross. Therefore, God has highly exalted him and given him a name above every name. They sold him as with a price of a slave. So they captured him as a slave. And now this whole slavery thing had come on him, because everything they did there from then on is how they will treat a slave. But he said, no matter what you try, no matter what environment you put me, what kind of label you put on me, what kind of tag you put on me, what kind of pressure, I will stay in servanthood, because servanthood is what will give me a name above every name and cause God to exalt me. Try to get that fella in Joseph, sell him as a slave. Because if we could only get him to think as a slave, and stop this servant business and hate his masters and bad talk his authorities and get him to do mischief and resentful, because a slave, man, when you are a slave, you hate everything, you know. That's why you see, I was fearful and I went and buried it. When you are a slave, if they'd get him, he would have been hating everybody. If his brothers came over there, he killing all the brothers. All his fellas inside there, you think he going to interpret dream for anybody? You in jail, they put you in jail. If I suffer, and let everybody suffer. And he going to interpret dream for the man who put him in jail. When he saw they're going to get wiped out and famine coming, he goes, hey, good for him. This is judgment time. They suffer me here, and I punish. And I got all are we dead together, seen the famine, but I ain't telling him nothing. But he had the servant spirit. So even if he felt that he was wrong, servanthood propels you. Paul said, the love of Christ constraineth me. So even if I want to do wrong, I can't do wrong. The love of Christ causes me to love the unlovable, to do what I do not even want to do for the sake of Christ. And even though they put him in jail, he was prophesying to them. The man who put him in prison, he said, listen, there's 7 years of plenty. The fellow said, manage my business. He could have sabotaged his business and mash up the whole thing, because people with slavery mentality, put them in charge of your business, take them as an employee, put them to run church business, and they will do one set of mess. You watch them there, and everything they find in too hard, too difficult, there's some kind of sabotage in somewhere. He said, listen, man, Pharaoh, you don't even have to watch me. I will make sure that your kingdom prosper. And he prospered that kingdom so much that more than the neighboring Israel, that was the island, the nation of God, so much so that his brothers and they had to come over there in a land that was supposed to have famine, was now flourishing, because this man had a servant spirit, and he decided, I'm going for investment and not resentment. I'm going for investment and not resentment. I'm going to maximize my opportunity, because this is not a master manipulating, but a mentor that is pushing me to get more and more and more and more and more. And he got the maximum out of it with the servanthood mentality and mindset rather than the slavery. And you watch people sometimes, it's a sad thing, because they have so much potential. They could do so much, but enslaved by that mindset. And then they will listen to some father or some mother or some brother or some sister, and some in church. The people who sell you to slavery most times are your own, you know. If they find your brothers sell you to slavery, you hear Christian talk, but I had somebody we employed who was working secularly, and she come to work with me. And when she heard inside, she said, Pastor, in the first 2 days, 10 people in church tell me what you get yourself in. And she said at the same time, about 15 people, 20 people on the other side, when I meet them, a neighbor and my co-workers, boy, thank God you get out of there, boy. You want to pass the coffee now? Well, you have a lot of opportunity, girl. Thank God with that man. It's growing. One person that I used to rent with before too said, this is a real opportunity. Unsaved people. And the saved people say, you crazy girl, who you coming to work with it? 2 days, 10 people. It's not that you got to distrust people around here at all, because we have some of the most excellent people and counselors and people who work and give their life here, some of the best servanthood spirit that you could see. So you listen to the voices that will take you there and get you to develop your biggest potential. Listen to servanthood voices. The things that people talk about as difficult and cry about and resentful about, those are the exact keys that will make every successful person successful. The exact thing. Exact. And there are some people who have made it successfully already, it would seem, but they don't want you to get there. Because on the upper part of the ladder, there are people who get there. And the reason why you have so few people there is not only because of diligence and competencies and hard work, is because people who are up there, they don't want nobody else to come up there, so they try to kick you down when you're trying to come up. You had people like Daniel and all these folks sold as a slave. And the Bible said the king promoted him because a spirit of excellence was found in him. While they put him as a slave and expect him to get down to mediocrity and inferiority, but he surpassed all of that and he maintained a spirit of excellence, servanthood with excellence. And the king took him and set him above all the presidents. Come on, somebody. Come on. An excellent spirit was found in him. Remember David? He said to Saul, David was treated as a slave, you know. He was not a slave, but he was treated as a slave. His parents couldn't even remember his name. When the brothers came he was working for no reward. They didn't even have him on a payroll. They had no recognition. They didn't even remember him. He was an unented. They had to throw him among lions and bears. If they eat, we won't miss him. When Samuel asking over and over, is there not another one? They say, we can't remember he. That's child abuse. The man killed a lion with his bare hand. They kept that down, and he ain't get a reward. He ain't get no recognition. He ain't get nothing, not even a word of compliment, not even a pat back. And although they treated him so, and no recognition, nothing. You know what David said? He said, thy servant will go up and fight this giant. It's a servant spirit. It's a servant spirit. He said, thy servant will go. What? He going to put his life on the line again for all them people who treat him bad and doing, and no reward, no recognition. But I am going to fight for my country, fight for my people, put my life at risk. I'm going to expose myself to all the dangers, get in harm's way in a big way. Although I was treated as nothing, because a servant spirit never takes account of those things. A servant spirit says, is there not a cause? Is there not a cause? There is a purpose. There is a reason why we have to do this. And that is what is important. What is at stake now? And that is what I am interested in. That's a servant spirit. What's at stake? What we have to do this for, and that is what, it doesn't matter who like me, who don't like me, who cuss me, who want to see me dead, who discourage me, who didn't recognize me, who didn't give me just reward for what I do, didn't recognize my service and whatever, is there not a cause? We want to focus on the cause, and it don't matter what's the cost, we will take care of the cause. Not the slave, but the servant. And all those people who were enslaved to the slavery mentality, they run from Goliath. Only one man with a servant's mind. And the servant's mindset say, no matter what it takes, I will address the cause at any cost. Servant's mindset.